Hey, Richardson, middle school, it's Mr. Flood. I was at your school in January. Wasn't too long ago, right? Only like 4 months, something like that. I know 4 months in middle school time is like 4,000 years in, in adult time. But I've stayed in touch, guys and girls. I hope you're all well. I hope your families are healthy and well. And I've stayed in touch with Mr. Tracy and some people at your school, and we connected the other day. And he asked me if I would send out an encouraging video to you during these crazy, weird, unforeseen, scary, strange, what other adjectives can I use, times that we're going through. And so I told him that I would absolutely do that because I love, kids in PA. It's one of my favorite states to speak in without a doubt. I'm supposed to speak in Williamsport, Pennsylvania at Pennsylvania Free Enterprise Week 4 times over the summer, 3 in July and 1 in August, which I love to do. PFEW is a great organization, and I hope some of you get to experience that when you get older into high school, as a sophomore, a junior, or a senior. Don't know if any of your brothers and sisters go there, but I hope I get a chance to do that. I don't know if that's going to be on or canceled, but I hope it's on. So, I really, what I said earlier, I hope you're well, and thank you again for the way that you treated me when I was there back in January. And I thought, the most important part of this message is to try and be encouraging to you. And I don't want to say anything to you that everybody else has said already about this craziness that we're going through. But I will tell you this. If any of you remember, and I hope some of you do, if any of you remember the challenges that I gave you when I was there, those challenges are three simple things that are so applicable now. I don't know, if not now more than ever, the three things that I talked about when I was there are applicable. What was the first challenge? The first challenge was to look on the inside of people. Why, Mr. Flood? Because we're all alike on the inside. Prove it, Mr. Flood. Everyone's susceptible to the virus. I'm just like you. My family's just like you. Maybe kids aren't getting, sick, or as many kids are getting sick as adults, right? But I am just like you. When it comes right down to it, we're all alike on the inside. Okay, so what does that do for me, Mr. Flood? Well, you should have empathy and compassion for everyone. But it should make it easier and simpler for you to have empathy, compassion for someone who's just like you. So I know if that person's just like me, then that's where I start with them. It might be hard to understand people who aren't like you, who don't look like you, walk like you. They're different from you. So you don't, right, until you get to know them. But when you realize we're all alike on the inside, that should enable you to go to empathy and compassion right away and be connecting with other people. So that's one. Two, the challenge that I gave you to say thank you to 2 teachers in your building. How is that applicable now, Mr. Flood? Okay, the teachers, I guarantee, guys and girls, over 90%, probably 99%, maybe 100% of your teachers had never taught remotely before. This is all new to them. And now I don't know when you guys got out of school. I think our school's like middle of March, like the second week of March or the first week of March. I don't even remember when it was. But now maybe they're getting a little bit of traction. But think about this. Whereas your teachers, guys and girls, used to be able to separate their home life from their school life, so they had home and then they had school. Now, they're teaching you from home. At home, what do they have? They might have a spouse. They might have pets. They might have children who are your age, younger, older, who need to navigate and be helped with their online learning, right? They may have other distractions at home, phone ringing. Multiple distractions in your own home. And not a lot of teachers that I know have a room they can lock themselves in to teach you. I'm sure a lot of them would like to have a room that they can lock themselves in to teach you or to just get away from their families. Maybe some don't have a spouse. Maybe they're a single parent and they have kids. So they have to, so have a little understanding for you teachers. And I'm not putting any more pressure on you guys and girls than needs to be applied. And can you have a bad day? Absolutely. Can you have fun online? Absolutely. But don't you want to be the person when you get back to school? I don't know if you're going back this year. I don't know what the situation is in Pennsylvania. Most schools, I don't know where we're at in New York. We go a little longer than you guys, I think. We go, like our middle schools go till the mid or like late June, like 3 weeks into June. So I don't know when you're done, but don't you want to be the kid when you get back to school that your teacher looks at you and says, thank you for showing up virtually. Thank you for being attentive online. Thank you for helping me navigate that technical issue I was having on the computer, because most of you probably know more about computers than you teachers do. So show up for your teachers. And again, like I said before, can you have a bad day? Absolutely. Can you have a fun, have fun? Absolutely. Can you disturb class? No. You're better off not showing up than, coming on and messing around, because the teachers are having a hard time, trying to keep traction. And the third thing that I would say to you, the third challenge that I gave to you when I was there was no one eats alone. Well, how can we apply that, Mr. Flood? Well, guess what? We're losing people because of this virus, guys and girls. People are getting sick. A lot of people are dying. Let's not lose anybody because of sadness, isolation, loneliness, and depression. Those are all really serious things that are preventable. Not easily preventable, but maybe simply preventable by a phone call. Reach out to someone. A call, a text, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I don't care how you communicate. I don't care if you send a carrier pigeon to someone's house. Write somebody a letter. Put a pen to paper. A couple weeks ago, a teacher emailed me, and she said, Mr. Flood, I'm having a hard time. I'm struggling. I teach hearing impaired kids. She teaches deaf students. And she said, I'm having a hard time keeping traction and keeping them interested online and signing and all this type of stuff. And I said to her, when was the last time you think any of your students got a handwritten letter in the mail? And she wrote back to me, oh my God, I've never even thought of that. And the ironic thing was, she was at that very day, she was writing out cards with her younger daughter to their relatives. She was sending out just greeting cards. And she said, that would be so easy for me to do. When I get a letter from someone, that someone took the time to put pen to paper and send me, and does it last? I mean, it's just a letter, or is it, right? I keep letters all the time. Kids in PFEW write, I have 1,000 letters I could show you, they're under my desk, of kids who write to me in PFEW. Mr. Flood, thank you for talking about all these things they tell me. And I keep the letters. I keep them because it's something tangible that I can hold on to. Maybe put a pen to paper and write somebody a letter. Think about the people, the kids in your school who are isolated during normal, I know I don't say normal, I say typical, isolated during the regular school year. Think about how isolated they are now. They live in a single parent home. Maybe they have no brothers and sisters. Maybe they're just lonely or an introverted person, which is not, introvert is not bad. It's just you're introverted, a little shy. Reach out to someone. Let's not lose anybody because of sadness, loneliness, isolation, and depression. Just reach out. And if you're that person, you'd want someone to reach out to you. And if you are that person, you might have to take a bigger step right now to connect with someone so that you don't fall into that darkness, that sadness, that isolation, and that loneliness. I want to ask you one question before I say something, to the 8th graders specifically. How are you going to come out of this? How are you going to come out of this? Because you can come out of this a better person, not better than anyone else, but a better version of yourself and better than you used to be. You have no distractions now. There's no sports. There's no dance, swimming, soccer, lacrosse, softball, field hockey, tennis, track, whatever. There's no distractions now. There's no music. There's no play. Maybe you're doing a play online. I don't know. And I know those things are good things. They're things you enjoy doing. I'm calling them distractions. There's nothing else to do. You have all of this time now to work on self-improvement. And I know you're only in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, but that doesn't mean you can't work on yourself by reading, praying, meditating, connecting, and forging stronger bonds with people that you normally would not have connected with. All that time that you were going to spend practicing soccer, what are you doing? I know you're on your phones and on social media, okay, but there's so much other time. You've got oodles of time, so much time. Work on yourself, work on self-improvement. You can come out of this a better person, not better than anyone else, but a better version of yourself and better than you used to be. And lastly, I want to say to the 8th graders, not like a senior in high school or a senior in college. I'm sure there's some type of graduation party for you guys. And I grieve the loss of that. It's a big deal, maybe not as big a deal as when you're a senior in high school or a senior in college. But anyway, moving on from middle school to high school, I get it. And I hope that you can look back and say, you know what, I got so much out of being home and getting closer to my family and friends, through virtually and across social media. And I learned a lot about myself during that time. But losing, all the awards ceremonies and things that were going to happen at the end of school. And again, I don't know what's happening in Pennsylvania. If you'll be able to have some type of ceremony in June or July over the summer, I don't know. But I know the staff will do the safest and the most beneficial thing for all of you at the end of this year. I hope I run into some of you at the high school or see you at PFEW sometime down the road. I'm sure I'll be back at Richardson sometime, hopefully in the warm weather. I think we had a nice winter this winter. I don't remember what the weather was when I was there, but I don't think it was too bad. But hopefully I'll come back, in the warm weather, maybe in the fall or the spring next year in 2 years when Mr. Tracy can have me back. But you have great staff, guys and girls there that care about you and love you and really want you to do well. So be there for them and really reach out to other people. It's so important. I hope you're all, that your families stay healthy and safe, and I hope you're well. I'll see you soon, Richardson. Have a good day, guys.